Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to yet another episode of Legit Crypto. I'm super excited for the conversation I'm about to have today with Nick, who is one of the creators for DeFiTimez. I actually got to know a little bit about Nick as part of the crypto coalition group that I'm a part of, and Nick is as well. And I first got to get a sense of what Nick is up to by one of his X spaces, which he holds very regularly. And I honestly just liked the guy's vibe. I liked how he was approaching this whole crypto Web3 space. And I thought to myself, like, this is one dude I have got to get to know. I've got to get on the show and just have a good conversation with and see what he's up to. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring Nick on screen and kind of jump into today's conversation. Nick, what's up, man? Thanks again for joining me, dude. I'm excited to just chat and hear what's been going on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to it ever since you mentioned it. We do so many Twitter spaces, like you said, where we first bumped into each other, but you never really see each other. You just kind of listening and so it's nice to actually have a conversation kind of face to face. COVID style.
Yeah, man. Exactly. It's one of the reasons I actually have been enjoying doing kind of like the more live AMA style videos, because I think hearing people's voices can give you a real sense, and I think then like having that little extra layer of video can help as well. But dude, before we jump in, to kind of chatting, I'd love to honestly learn more about your product DeFiTimez. I know a little bit, right?
Okay.
But if you want to just kind of give your 2 or 3 minute elevator pitch on what you're working on and, let me know,
Okay.
that'd be awesome.
Well, the whole spiel of the product is the DeFiTimez magazine. We do have a token, but that's the byproduct. Um, the reason this came about is I've worked in publishing for many years. I started the first digital publishing company back in 2014 in Dubai. And when I closed that down, I was heartbroken. And then a couple of months later, I found crypto. And I was like, okay, I know I'm definitely going to be bringing out a magazine about crypto as and when the time is right. The time was right last year. I launched it initially on Ethereum, and it went absolutely nowhere. I pumped it myself. Alien, who's in the chat, he was with me. Like, it was basically me and him, just constantly grinding. And then when everybody kind of moved over to Solana, I looked at it and I spoke to the community. At the time, it was Einstein Crypto, and there was going to be 2 parts to it: Einstein videos for beginners, and then the DeFiTimez for more seasoned pros. For some reason, people just found it confusing because there were 2 aspects to the project. So I sat down with the community and said, look, we've got a chance that we can go over to Solana and relaunch the project over there, but do it with just the magazine, so there's no confusion. So everyone was like, yeah, let's go and do that. We're sitting here and nothing's happening on Ethereum, so let's go to Solana. So that we did on the 4th of February. And since then, we just took off nicely. Couple of bumps, couple of pullbacks, couple of jumps, couple of pullbacks, and then we just set off and ran up to about $7.7 million market cap. And honestly, that's the worst thing that could have happened, because it happened 5 weeks before the magazine came out. So I set a 3-month limit for this is when the magazine's going to come out, because we need to do all of these things and get all of these things in place, so it's there on time. And like I said, we hit the market cap 7.7 million 5 weeks out. Well, because on that pump there was no more money to come in on that little bit of a cycle, so we had a pullback, and then it just went back and then pulled back and pulled back and pulled back and then everybody just started getting negative. And I'm like, guys, what's up? Like the magazine comes out in
It's
5
not even
weeks.
out yet.
Like you're
Yeah.
coming in here like that. None of us expected. We genuinely thought we were going to stay at around $500,000 market cap until the magazine came out, and then once the magazine came out, we'd then
Then you
start
start
to
to see.
push. But we just hit these heights, and then it came back down. And I was like, guys, look, none of us expected it to even get there in the first place. So why the negativity? And when people see such highs and then come down, they're like, oh no, we want to be back up there. And then people slowly but surely stop retweeting things, stop commenting in the Telegram. And it's like, guys, the token is not the product. The magazine is the product. We're here to educate the industry. We're here to educate people. Now, we want to educate people to everything crypto, blockchain, DeFi, NFTs, and gaming. Initially, I didn't want to touch meme coins because it's just such a landmine. But
Dude, you're telling me.
we understood that we were leaving a lot on the table if we didn't, because at that time and still now, the community-driven aspect of a meme coin can really help us to push our content out further. So it was like, okay, we'll have a meme coin section. We'll put in some educational aspects. I decided with the team that, okay, well, it has to be out a month before we touch it, unless we know people in there and we know that they can be trusted. So we kind of set that standard for ourselves, because I find if you've been grinding for a month, that's when you're doing that's the toughest part. That's when you're questioning yourself. Why am I doing this? Do I really want to do this? So I find if it's been a month, then there's a good chance it could still fail. This is the thing about
like
crypto.
anything.
Yeah, something can fail and it not rug. It just people weren't interested. So we've given ourselves these rail guards. So we can better protect ourselves, because what I don't want to do is talk about a project, that project rug, and then people are just going to come straight to me. Oh, you told us to buy that. I didn't tell you to buy it. I said, look at this. I gave you information.
It's not financial advice.
Yeah. Well, I don't put that it's not financial advice, because at no point do we tell people to purchase it. So we don't need to. Like some of these YouTubers that are getting paid to talk about these projects, like they'll be like, oh, you need to take a look at this because this is amazing. And oh, not financial advice. All we do with projects is we give people enough information for them to be able to go and research it. All we want to do is just show people the project, tell people the basics about the project, and then if they like the sound of it, they can now go and learn more about it, get some more in-depth articles, because we're just looking to educate people. We're not looking to give any financial knowledge. We're not.
Sure.
We've written an 8-part guide into the basics of crypto trading. So we've started in the first issue with very basic information, and week by week by week, we've just gone into more things so people can go and figure it out and look in and find more information. Because that's what we're trying to do now. The main part of this is we're going to be bringing the magazine out in 12 languages. Okay,
that's pretty impressive. Is that both written and audio, or
yes,
how are you approaching that?
And audio, so written, audio, and video. So awesome. I have the content written. I then have people like Wes, who does the English, solid community member. Barbara, she's the queen of the Spanish language. She takes care of the Spanish side. Me personally, I just take the articles that I'm given and I just throw them straight into ChatGPT and get it to translate it, and then I just fire it straight over to Barbara. Oh, mate, it is so much better. When I had my publishing company in Dubai, I was running. It was a food magazine, and I was producing it initially in English, Arabic, Hindi, and Tagalog. So
Oh,
for
wow.
the other three languages, I had to pay companies to translate all the information. So there was a cost attributed
Oh, yeah. It's
to
a big
that.
deal.
Yeah, Chat GPT is well 4.0 anyway is absolutely phenomenal at translation. As soon as I saw a video on YouTube about GPT 4.0, I knew that it was going to be good for translations because the app someone was talking to GPT 4.0 and they said, "Oh, do you know anything? Do you know how to speak Spanish?" And she just fluently flipped
Yeah, it's
into
crazy.
Spanish. And as soon as I heard it, I'm like, "That is my
Yeah,
translation
that's the
right
ticket.
there."
That's the
Forty
ticket.
dollars a month, but I do.
Uh,
There does need to be a Spanish speaker on the other end of it, same as when I was playing about with it, running some Dutch. There are a few words that do need changing, so you
sure.
do need to have a Spanish speaker look at it, and
Do a quick
then we
edit. Yeah, it makes
create.
sense.
Yeah, and then we move straight into the audio creation. So we have an AI software that we use for that. So we just basically drop the content in. You do have to put some little pauses in sometimes with the English version, with it being DeFiTimez with a Z. It comes out weird. So because you don't see the written, the
Right.
guys normally change it to times with an S. So it just says it properly.
Yep.
So from all of that, we then have a separate software that I'm just playing about with it at the moment to start doing some video content that we can just start putting out across Twitter, put it onto YouTube. Some of these new Web3 systems that are coming out, like YouTube and Memeflix and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. That's another
Yep.
avenue where we can put it as well. But
Very
it's all
cool.
about time, to be honest with you. It's
Yeah.
everything's time consuming, and I've got some amazing people that work with me on the magazine,
Hey man, I
and
got a
it's
question that I've been pretty curious about before we kind of go, deeper into the weeds. Um, so one of the things I really liked when I first encountered you and your spaces is, you talk about your product, right? The app, the magazine, it's the product, and then you have your token, your, call it project, coin, whatever you want to call it. Um, how do those two pair? Like, what's the incentive of the token as it relates to the actual product you're building, or how are you thinking about that? Because that's been one thing I've been really curious about. As I'm kind of building
okay.
something very similar, like I have a product, a game, and then I have a token, and I'm always curious how other people like yourselves are marrying the two so it makes sense.
Well, for me, the perfect utility for a project is to get money from Web 2, bring it into Web 3, and distribute
Mm-hmm.
it to your
Yeah.
holders. So I've been in crypto since late 2017, but I've been in publishing for over a decade, nearly two. So the advertising revenue side of the magazine, all of that is going to go to buy back and burn the token, and then that inflates the price of the token on the initial buy. With it being on Solana, it gets burnt off the chain, but the revenue stays on chain. That gets distributed to all of the wallets that are holding DFTZ. So
So
you
wait,
you you get like a double pump.
so let me understand. So you're using a traditional model for revenue, right? So the product earns its own revenue through eventually advertising or some mechanism like
Yes,
that. That
yes.
a
Because the
portion or all of that,
the magazine is a Web 2 product.
sure, it's an app, right? I mean,
Yes, yes,
right now it's
yes,
an app. Got it. And then you're basically doing the buybacks and burns of your existing token. Now, you
yes.
as the creator, I mean, do you have how are you going to make money? I guess is my question. Do you then have some reserve currency in your token so that there is some sort of, revenue incentive for you.
So basically, I've approached this where I've taken myself out of the equation, because if the SEC or anybody wants to come after the magazine, because it's a decentralized ecosystem, I'm the only person that they can come at, because everything's in my name, the apps, the URLs, everything's on me. But, I know it all belongs to the project. So I didn't gift myself any tokens. I gifted tokens to the project so the project can pay for itself. So when people buy up the chart, the project bags go up in value. When bills need to be paid, it then, bit by bit, we take out on a monthly basis whatever we need to take out to pay for the bills that month. So the advertising revenue side, none of that goes to the magazine. Every single penny of that goes to buy back and burn as the thank you to the community for purchasing the token.
Yeah, interesting. Man, is this a passion project for you? Or is this a leapfrog into, more of a revenue stream for you and your life and your family?
Well, I won't be getting paid. Again,
Sure.
I won't pay myself. The only time I'll make money is I've bought tokens from the LP like everybody else has. Right. And when the token goes up in value, I'm worth what my bags are worth. So that's where I'll get my money from.
I like it. So it's kind of as if it's a, quote unquote fair launch in a way where you're an investor, like anyone else that's, purchasing your coin at wherever it's at in its, lifespan, and its risk reward. I like that, man. That's admirable, right? Because you've kind of, you've got your own money on the line and a lot of your own time. I dig that.
Yeah. The thing is,
really respectable.
like I said, I'll never take a wage, because again, I'm the only person that if a government wants to come after the project, they can only come after me. If I don't pay myself, if I never took any tokens, if I don't misuse any of the revenue, then there's absolutely nothing they can come after me for. And they definitely can't go after the magazine or anybody that works on the magazine, because everybody works remotely. So I'm realistically the only real visible thing. So I've just made it where if they can't get me for anything, they can't get the magazine for anything. So my job ultimately at the moment, obviously, it's a very long job and there's a hell of a lot that needs doing. Like I said, I've got some amazing people like Radster, Wes, Barbara, and all the other guys like Ahmed and so on, and Alien. Like I said, he's been around since day one. There's a million other names that I haven't mentioned. Let me just look and see who's in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah, I've covered most. I've covered most of
Radster,
them. So.
Barbara's in the chat.
Aliens in there as well.
Aliens in there. I dig it. Hey, just a heads up for anyone that's actually listening in on the live stream. We are going to do a bit of a QA rounds towards the end of the stream. So maybe in like 10, 15 minutes or so. So if you do have questions for Nick or myself or anything in general, drop them in the live chat. I'll star them so we can kind of revisit them, but we'll do that session or that little Q&A session in just a little bit. Wow, dude, you mentioning just how you're thinking about protecting yourself, right? And also having a really clear way for your community to understand the economics of your coin, tokenomics, if you will. Yeah. I don't know. It inspires me, man. I got to say, as I'm kind of approaching a similar scenario with a game product that has its own, sort of mechanism related to crypto, it really makes me think like, all right, I should really think about this as a visible person like yourself, as a way to ensure that
if you can make money outside of crypto and redistribute that to your community within crypto, to to me, that's the best thing possible, because most crypto projects, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You buy an NFT, you stake it, you get this token. You stake a token, we'll give you more tokens. It's all 2017. Do you know what I mean? Like, give us something new. There are projects out there now that are selling things online and bringing that revenue into their community and distributing it, whether it's merch, whether it's supplements. Meta Rebels. Meta Rebels NFTs, they're doing some phenomenal things. The Bad Ted Society, what Top Guns is doing over there is phenomenal. You know, they've got Pretty Poopsies. They're doing wet wipes for kids, and they're selling loads, but all of the profit that comes in for Pretty Poopsies goes to the holders. So now their holders are now starting to make money. They're going to get back in their first drop the same amount as what they paid for the NFT in the first place. So, and the guys that have done this were not the guys that launched the project. These are guys that have come in and taken the project over because they just weren't being run properly, you know. So bringing Web 2 money into Web 3 for me is the perfect way to do it. Because you're not robbing Peter to pay Paul. Everyone's getting paid, and the community should get something. And you know, it's because without the community, you're nothing. Like your coin doesn't go up. I mean, we're different in the sense that, and don't take this the wrong way. It doesn't matter to us if nobody else buys the coin ever again. All I'm focused on at the moment is readership, because readership gets us advertisers.
Growth.
Advertisers brings in revenue. The revenue buys back and burns. Anybody wants to sell out? Great. This week, I'll buy you out of your position of however much you want to sell. And it just becomes this secular economy where money comes in, buybacks, burns, and if people want to take a bit of profit, but you know, people have said to me, well, when should I sell? What should I do? How should I do it? I'm like, bruv, you do you. You know, I guarantee at some point down the line, you're going to say, I wish I'd have bought more. Because I know, I can't say whether we're going to have 1 million readers in a day, a week, a month, a year. But I know within the English, we're going to have multiple million readers a week. And the ad revenue from that is going to be phenomenal. You know, I'll give you so it's going to be in Mandarin, English, Spanish, Russian, French, Arabic, Portuguese, German, Dutch, Italian, Japanese, and Korean. And then I've got 3 maybes, which is Turkish, Urdu, and Hindi.
Okay.
Just because they've got very large crypto communities.
So I was just looking at your website. I'm going to bring it up on the screen really quick. The one thing that I've been curious about since day one, and I've downloaded the app for iOS. The thing that I wanted to ask you, and I've really been keen on asking you, especially since you've come from such a robust publishing background, is you chose to launch on Android and iOS out of the gates. What's your strategy, as it relates to having, those as your form of distribution, as opposed to doing more of a traditional, web SEO play? That's one thing that I've always been curious about.
Well, initially it wasn't going to be on the website. We had we were run through the mill, I'll be honest with you. So I've launched apps before. Apple is the tough guy. To get it in their store, you better dot the I's, cross the T's, and say pretty please. We got in there first. And it took us 10 weeks to get onto, or 11 weeks to get onto Google. They were just rejecting us every time, and for silly reasons, but like a good show pony, I kept jumping through hoops, and after 11 weeks, they finally allowed us in, and it was just, you think you're going to be excited, but by the end of it, I was just like, So in the meantime, because I straight out the gate, I put the APK files for the apps onto the website and said to people, it's here. You can download it. You need to approve it in your settings. I understand. Some of you won't want to do that. Some of you will think it's a wallet drainer. That's cool. It's here if you choose to do it. And then very quickly, like within a week, we got onto Apple. So we took the APK away from that and put the real app up. And then people started downloading that. But then obviously with Google, people were like, no, I'm not downloading it. I'm like, bro, that's cool. I genuinely don't mind. Wait until the app comes out. So in the meantime, I've said to my devs and designers and so on, can we turn like the magazine file, can we turn it into HTML? Can we get it on the website? And they were like, yeah, let us just tweak a few things, which they did. So then it was on the website, so people could read it on the website whilst they were waiting for the app. Personally, I think it's a much better read in the app on your phone, because it's just it's so engaging, whether it's the music, whether it's the video, whether it's the content, the images, it's just a lot more engaging when it's in your hand. And even when you're listening to it, I just find it's a better feel. I know from having a publishing company before in the digital realm, I know that the phone aspect of things, people have always got it in their hand, and the content delivery is so much better, that's why the content that I've got on the website is the exact same content that's on the phone. I don't think it looks as good on the website.
Did I miss do you have a web version? Because it looked like to me that you only
DeFiTimez.com, top right hand corner, so it says magazine.
Oh shit, man. I'm terrible. All right. There we go. Oh, we got it right here. All right. Sorry. There's some UX feedback for you. It wasn't obviously clear. Okay, cool. Okay, so you actually are
educating people all day, every day.
Oh, man. Okay, so you do have... that's cool. Oh, dude, I see. Okay, that was a little loud, but that's cool. I see what you're talking about.
So
cool.
Now we're just giving it to everybody in as many formats as we can. I said, the app version to me is the best. It's the most engaging. It's just, you can interact with it. Like Steve Jobs said, you're doing everything with your finger. Your finger is the trackpad. It's the stylus. It's everything. So I just think it's a much better way. And then even with the advertising, if you click on the DeFiTimez ad on the inside front cover, that just takes you straight to Jupiter, so you can purchase the token. All the adverts. So there's PawChain advert in there as well. When you click on the PawChain advert, that takes you to their website, so you can learn more about their products.
Now, are you, so the one thing that, you continue to mention all the adverts and the advertising, are you actually taking on advertising currently, or is this something that you have a goal set to, accomplish before you take on advertisers?
You need readership.
Okay, so readership's your first goal.
Yeah, it has to be, because that's what advertisers want. They want to know what audience you've got. Now, for a YouTuber, they can see your audience because they can see how many subscribers you've got. Then they can look at past content and see how many people watched it, how many likes, how many shares. All of these metrics.
How does that work in the app ecosystem for your product specifically? Are they looking at downloads? Are you able to supply them with any sort of metrics or KPIs, key performance indicators?
Yeah. So at the moment, I've got Firebase set up to look at the app metrics. Then there's for the website. We're just setting up Google Analytics, and I'll be able to give the advertisers information to show them, okay, we've got X amount of readers in the English. So at the moment, we've got English and Spanish. We will be moving into Portuguese and Arabic next. I mean, realistically, if we get a few thousand Germans come into the chat and say, listen, if you put German in next, we know that we can get 1 million downloads because we've got all of these connections and blah blah blah. We'll be doing German next. You know, it's whatever works for the magazine, whatever gives the magazine growth, because it's the magazine that makes sense. It's the magazine that's the product. Like I said, the token is the byproduct. People buy it, hold it, and inflate the price, and that then allows the magazine to fund itself and keep continually bringing out more magazines, more languages, and then bit by bit getting the growth across the whole network, and then sitting down with advertisers and saying, okay, we've got 1 million English readers, we've got 500,000 Spanish readers, we've just launched, we've got 250,000 Arabic readers. Let's look at the likes of crypto.com, Binance, KuCoin. You know, all of these products need to advertise. Okay, now they want to advertise to an audience where they can interact with them. Now, when you're looking at TV, radio, magazine, print, there is no real interaction there. Digital advertising's the way forward, because now they can just click on the crypto.com advert and it'll then open up in-app, like where crypto.com want them, whether it's to download the wallet, whether it's to go onto their social media or whatever activation they choose. That's where the page takes them, and then they do that activation. They then come back. They'll have their own metrics, knowing where all of the traffic's coming from, and they'll be able to see. So if I turn around and say, "Oh yeah, you had 500,000 link clicks in the magazine," and they're like, "Oh, that's strange because only 50 people came." Do you know what I mean? Like the beauty of digital advertising is it can really, really help to get people, if they see it, they like it, they touch it, they interact with it straight away. But also, if you're not providing and you're trying to pull the wool over the advertiser's eyes, they're going to be like, yeah, nah, dude, we can see that you've only sent us 50, 100, 1,000, 1 million people. Do you know what I mean?
So it's much more transparent these days, you know, in terms of,
and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, you mentioned, so you're using Firebase for your database. What is the app or the apps? What are they built on or built with? I'm assuming you have like a small team or, someone that's basically building the apps. What's it built on?
It's a publishing. It's a publishing suite. Is all I'll say.
Okay.
The design software that we use is Adobe InDesign. And it has a plugin for the app to be able to download it, design it in the way that we have done. Okay, I don't want to give too much away because, like I've said to my guys, once we become successful and people see that there's money to be made, there's going to be a publishing season. There's going to be DeFi Post, DeFi Gazette. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that try and do the same thing, especially when you're looking at people like Cointelegraph and all of these websites. They do what they do for peanuts. This is why you can pay all of these major websites $5,000, and they'll publish an article on their website that you've written. They'll put in small letters advertorial somewhere, but that's not happening in this magazine. Nobody pays for editorial. Editorial is given on merit.
Right.
And if anybody ever tries to ask, oh, well, how much can we pay to get in up the queue? It's like, dude, you don't. Like we have a flat plan, we have a publishing plan, and if we think that you've got a phenomenal product, then we'll get you in as quick as we can. But if we've already got a plan that's a month, 6 weeks ahead, then you'll get in when the time's right. But
Yeah.
no, we won't be taking payment.
It's so
If
funny.
anything.
I've been seeing and hearing a lot more about these publications out there. My wife, she's, I don't want to call her an influencer because I'm not a big fan of that term, but she's a writer. She has Substack. She's a really good writer, and has built a large audience. And it's so funny because, she's been getting these kind of inbound, we'll call it like offers, but they're like, hey, we want you to come and write for our magazine and be featured and blah, 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 and like hype her up. And then in like the footnote is, and it's only going to cost you $3,000 or something absurd. But like more and more of these sorts of mechanisms are in place, which really make you, wonder about the publication, first and foremost, but, the type of people that would, say yes to those sorts of offers. But I like the merit-based approach that at least, you seem to be stepping towards or, have taken a stance in.
Well, I mean, we won't post anything that we think is bullshit. We won't.
Yeah, you
Post
gotta have
anything
integrity.
because they're paying. You just simply cannot pay for editorial. It's as plain and simple as that, and we'll never go back on that. Again, because of the secular economy of the magazine, we're not beholden to advertisers per se. If an advertiser says, well, we're not advertising unless you do this, and it's like, no, if that's not in our plan to do it, then we're simply not going to do it. Okay, don't advertise with us. Feel free to go over there and advertise. There's not many publications that have got integrity because they can't afford to have integrity, and that's why I've set this up the way I have, is so we can keep ours.
Yeah. Hey man, so you and I both come from the Web 2 era of building products. I come from more of the tech background. You come from more of the publication end of the spectrum. The one thing that I've really done in my own businesses, and I'm curious kind of how your approach is, especially with DeFiTimez, is the traditional approach is you're trying to build a product, especially a product, right? You're trying to build a product and you want to de-risk as much as possible up front to validate that there's a problem to be solved, an audience to be built, XYZ. And so like with where you're at now, like what do you feel is either the next big risk to de-risk, in what you're building? What's the next kind of big milestone that you're trying to, achieve for yourself so that okay, there's really something, to continue down this path? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, but yeah. Well, look, let me try and answer it the best I can. You have to look at your project and say to yourself, right? Because I'm doing this for myself, right? Because I really wanted to do it, and I think there's a very big need for it. I think people will enjoy it, and I think it can be successful. So that being said, I then had to put things into place. So I had to start building. I had to start growing a community. I had to put myself out there. I had to grind. So I've been grinding now for nearly 18 months, 7 days a week, 16, 17 hours a day.
Dude, you are grinding with the amount of X spaces that you do.
I love it. But the thing is, it's like they say, find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
I,
It's so
I,
true.
I wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, flick through Telegram, Twitter, just look vaguely just to see if there's anything that's really important that needs answering now. If not, okay, I'll have a coffee, pop outside, have a cigarette, take the kids to school, come back, have another coffee, and then start getting on to the rest of the day. And things start to pick up after an hour or two. More people start coming in, so we get VCs going in the Telegram early in the morning, get people chatting on the way to work, doing stuff, and there's people all over the world. So we've got people in America, Canada, and in the Middle East and North Africa and Europe. So we've got a very diverse community. And people just come into the chat when they can, and then we take it across to Twitter. We do a shared project space on a Wednesday and a Sunday evening my time. So I kind of looked at it and thought, what's going to be the best time for everybody to be able to join in. So I do it 8 p.m. my time, which is 5 p.m. UK time, and that's about lunchtime, 12 o'clock Eastern Seaboard time.
Yep.
So that's about perfect. And then because we're bringing in other projects, so people can, because I'm always looking for content, and I bring people into the space, and I just say to people, send me a DM. Like, I'm always looking for content. You have to be a month old. I don't care if you're meme coin, NFT, blockchain, anything, right. DeFi, because I need projects for all of these things. We're not chain agnostic, we're not project agnostic. I believe a good project is where you find them. And if I can get people from Ethereum to invest in a project that's on Base because it's a game-changing project, then that's when I feel I've done my job. Because if people don't start investing in good projects, because no, we're not investing in that. That's on Base, or that's on Polygon, or that's on Solana, or it's on Tron. We have to get past this bullshit. There's phenomenal products out there that need investment. The biggest thing to ever hit crypto, I don't think we have it yet. I think we're very, very close with Porchain. I genuinely do. If Porchain can get there.
Oh, if Porchain. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. If Porchain can get down to 0 fees, then I think they've nailed it. But until we can get rid of gas, I think Porchain at the moment have absolutely nailed it on the speed of their product. The multi-chain aspect of their product, I think that is hands down the best product that's around at the moment. It's phenomenal.
For everyone watching the live stream, if you're not familiar with Podchain, I've actually, one of the guys on the team was part of last week's Legit Crypto. So Brian. Definitely go check that out. Brian. Oh, dude, he's awesome. Fantastic episode. It's on the YouTube channel, so definitely go watch that. They're a layer 3, and they're basically trying to do a lot, but they're trying to create a lot more interoperability between all of the chains with these really, really low fees that, Nick is talking about. But dude, I agree with you, man. I think that is one of those big advancements in this space, which just helps really lower the bar of effort that's really needed to invest, to explore, to build, and do all these different things with, this Web3 tech that we're all kind of, playing and dancing in. So you're totally right.
The thing is, what people have to understand is, in the West, like, we're used to making payments, and we're used to there sometimes being fees and stuff like that. And yes, we can afford fees, especially with gas fees the way they are. It's something that we don't necessarily have a problem with. But if you go down to South America, if you go over to Asia, that's not the case. These people are living hand to mouth. They can't do an on-chain Ethereum fee to go and buy some food and pay even at its lowest. It's I think it's just dropped to $1 since nobody's using it at the moment. But it used to be around the $2 mark. Well, if you're going to spend $1 at the store, you can't pay a $2 gas fee. That's crazy.
Right.
So
it is crazy.
what people have been doing is they've been using their Binance wallet to pay for things because that's been the cheapest mode of payment. So until we have something that is free or near free gas, and then it also has the speed and traits that Porchain has, then Solana's not it. No other L1, L2 solution is either, because as they get busier and busier, their fees do start to go up. Whereas with Porchain, they're infinitely scalable. They can do 50,000 transactions per second at the moment. All they need to do is just add more RAM, and it just keeps going up. Another 50, another 50, another 50. So they're already as fast as MasterCard and Visa. And as more people come on, they just add more RAM and just do more and more and more.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's go. Let's do some questions.
No, that's all right. Actually, I haven't seen too many questions in the chat, but I've got a curveball question.
Come on, guys, ask some questions. Give me some hard questions.
All right, we'll give it a couple of seconds. I know you have an X space in about 10 minutes, so I want to be respectful of your time, and also, like, as we end the live stream, I want to be able to chat with you quickly afterwards. But I love to end, these episodes of Legit Crypto with a bit of a curveball question. So if we don't get any questions in the chat, I got a curveball one for you that I love to close with, because it's
I feel like to close. I was going to say, ask me anyway. But yeah, if that's your closer, then yeah, we'll wait. Nobody got any questions.
It's all right. Sometimes there's some questions, sometimes not, and it is just how we flow. So, all right, I want to make sure you have time.
Listening from Otzi. He's here listening in. Well done.
Nice. Barbara has been blowing up the chat. Is she part of your team? You mentioned?
Yeah. So Barbara's, she's phenomenal. You'll struggle to find somebody who's got the level of dedication for. But she works with us. She also works with Gotti. She works with a few different projects. She puts on project spaces over in her time zone. She's just unbelievable. She's just an absolute grafter. And awesome. we're blessed to have her. So she, like I said, I create the Spanish content, I send it over to her. She then just edits it just to make sure that she said she'll normally have to change something like 2, 3, 4 words per article, and then she creates the Spanish MP3 and then drops that into the Google Drive. So then the designers can then just take it and then just start laying it out. Nice. So yeah, she's massive for us.
All right, man. I got one community question. We're just gonna go with one for the sake of time, so I can still ask you my curveball. So forever for crypto says, what is the expectation of when advertising kicks off? Do you have a certain target to meet before that part of the ecosystem kicks off?
I don't know. Is he asking about revenue, or is he asking about readership, or?
It sounds like he's asking about, is there a certain milestone you're trying to achieve, which we kind of talked about earlier, until the advertising revenue stream kicks in?
I mean, look, we need hundreds of thousands of readers. And we need them active, and we need them going through, we need them clicking on advertising that's there already, so I can build a use case to go to advertisers, because advertisers want numbers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you give it to them, they'll be happy to pay. But if you haven't got the numbers, then they'll be like, maybe we'll look at it and see how it goes and stuff. So readership is what we need. Like I said, we've only been in the Android App Store for just under 2 weeks now. And yeah, promoting the magazine when we weren't in the Android App Store, there was just no point, because there's always going to be more Android readers because there's more Android users. Do you know what I mean? Yep. So to pay to advertise just the Apple side, and then the questions would always been and always still, oh, what about Android? What about Android? So I would have had to have gone out and do it all again anyway. So why spend twice when you can spend once?
I like it. All right, I got one more silly question from Wesley before we close up. Do you like gin and tonic?
Yeah, you know I don't, Wes. So me and Radster, we had a bet, and he said we're going to hit all-time high before halving, and I said I just don't see it. Trend is your friend. It's never happened. I don't see it happening. He said okay, and he knows that I do not like gin, and I hate tonic even more than I hate gin. So he said, all right, I'll do you. Yeah, so he said, I'll do you a bet. If I'm right, you drink a gin and tonic. If I'm right, he drinks something else, tequila. I think he is his hatred. So I was like, cool. And then it hit the all-time high. So I was like, okay, cool. So I got my pint glass out. I put about 3 or 4 measures of gin in there, and then I put a full can of tonic in there, and then I just sculled it in a one. And I got my wife to film it at the time so that people could see. She was live streaming it into our Telegram, which was funny because I was on a space at the time. I was on a VC, and she videoed it. And then I dropped the video in, so you could see me doing it, but you could also hear the conversation that I was having with people that were in the group. And I'm just drinking. I just thought, this is going down in one, because there's no way I'm sipping this. So I just smashed it and did it all in a one. I can't stand this stuff. But Wes likes gin and Radster likes gin. Weirdos.
That's great. All right, man. I got my final curveball question for you before we wrap this thing up. Let's just set DeFiTimez aside completely. This question is not about that. It's more of a personal question to you, and that is, if you could place a billboard anywhere in the world for 24 hours, where would you put it, and what would it say?
I have no idea. Maybe put it in the Maldives.
Maldives, interesting choice.
Yeah, or even put it in Times Square and and all you put on it is just say, "Stop looking at these billboards and have some fun."
That's a good one, man. I haven't heard anything remotely like that. That's an awesome one. All right, dude. Well, hey, I know you got to get to an X Space here shortly. Everyone who joined the live stream, thanks so much for showing up. And yeah, man, I look forward to continuing to connect with you, especially in the Crypto Coalition group, and your continued success with the magazine. And I'd love to participate in some time. And
like I said. Yeah. Like I said, if you want to do a column in the magazine, we're more than happy to have you in. We'll brand it like a column from Kev the Dev. Your logo will be on there as well, so people will know it's you and it's just your thoughts that week on the crypto market.
Sounds good, man. Well, hey, dude, it's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed the conversation, and until next time, and everyone have an awesome day. Later.
Thank you.